Hello, Rohan. So, the only point of coming live today was to discuss how the things are going. Now, the data is out, so we've got some clarity. But I'll just like to add that we have INI set in May. So, make sure that your INI set still remains your main target. We'll be discussing more about NEET PG and the plan ahead, most likely this coming Saturday because I'm not keeping well today. So, just a short session. If anything, we want to discuss any doubts or any confusions going on here and there. I hope you guys are studying well. Make sure that 30th August date doesn't no slag you in your preparation. You still have to be on the top of your toes, and because you never know, NB is very unpredictable. They keep on changing things here and there, but still, the date gives you some clarity. You have to go on like the way you were going because still the date for INI set has not changed, and INI set preparation always helps you gain more experience how to do well in your NEET examination. Just give me a moment. Yeah, so when I was giving my first exam, that was INI set May 2025, a lot of learnings that I got from the exam I applied in NEET PG, and it helped me perform better in NEET PG. So yes, still you don't have to be like your exam has, you know, because earlier we were expecting to be around June. They've already postponed it beforehand to avoid any sort of postponements later. So don't make like this August 30 make you prepare a little less. You have to be preparing like the like ways you were preparing for NEET PG earlier, because you have INI set May, and it's still a very good chance because you have nothing to lose. So just make sure that you prepare well for that, and whatever experiences we'll be gaining in from INI set May, we'll be applying it for our NEET PG examination to perform better over there, right? Yeah. So, like Jan is ending, we have Feb, March, April, and then May. I suppose 15th May somewhere you'll be having your exam, so you have like roughly 3.5 months. So 15 days we just remove because that will be your last 15 days of preparation. You have 3 months of Feb, March, April, wherein whatever you have revised till now, you will be consolidating in Feb. Uh, Rest, March, and April will be left for a solid good read yet again of consolidating everything, revising everything, and a 15 days of last 15 days revision, and will be appearing for May. And there onwards, you'll be having June and July and August, 3 months again. You'll be having solid 3 months to just revise everything and prepare. And if you are getting a good rank in INI set, that will always be a bonus. Like this, a senior used to say that take your aims or INI set exam always as a bonus. You have to prepare your best, but don't give yourself like any sort of very much pressure key we have to tack like get some digit rank in INI set. INI set will be a bonus. We'll be preparing our heart and soul, and we'll be giving in our best. And if we get our result in INI set May, that's well and good. And if there are some lacuna here and there, we will improvise, and definitely we will achieve our target in NEET PG. So that should be a goal. the August 30 date should not make you go like we have enough of time. No, you'll be preparing as you were preparing earlier, and you will become more vigilant with things because INISET May is still there. It is not going anywhere, and it's a very good chance of performing your best. So just keep studying the way you were studying. From fourth year, so you just have to make sure that you give 7 to 8 GTs in final year. Sorry, first year no, fourth year. So you have to make sure that you give some 7 8 GTs uh, at max or 5 6 GTs at minimum to just orient yourself with how things work and how do you get the all subjects questions and how do you attempt the paper in 3 hours, and make sure that you just revise your final year subjects really well so that you save yourself some time for these subjects in your internship year and you focus more on your pre and paraclinical subjects in your internship beginning, because you'll be preparing well for your final year in your final year, and just solve a lot of questions in final year. Don't be like, yeah, I'll be practicing MCQs in my internship year only. Solve all the questions as much as you can of final year and some customs of previous year subjects as well, especially of like patho, pharma, which will be helpful for you in your final year exams as well. Yeah. So actually, my scores were good from Jan to May. I was scoring somewhere around 150s in the beginning of January, 155 to 160, somewhere around Feb and March, with some dips in between. And I like touched a near by 170 rank, 170 marks, like 170 correct questions before, and I said May only, and that itself, you know, added some sort of pressure in me that I want to do really well in INSET. That is what I have been keeping repeating, that if even if your scores are 150, even if your scores are 170, you just have to make sure that you just perform till the end day and don't over pressurize yourself with anything. So just because I was getting a very good score in GTs, I overburdened myself with a lot of expectations and I did not perform well in May, and I said, and but I made sure that I will write down all the mistakes that I committed, and I made sure that I don't repeat those mistakes in NEET, and hence I got a good rank in NEET. So that is what I am trying to stress, that even if your date for NEET PG is August 30, your, and I said May, is still a very good chance. Please make sure that you do well, you do your best still, and whatever we will learn from the May exam, we will apply to get a very good rank in NEET PG. Any specific doubts about preparation right now? Anything about subjects or anything which is stressing you right now? We can discuss in 5 10 minutes, and we'll be having a long discussion on the Saturday maybe, because Sunday I'll be on duty. See, for INISET also, you don't have to be very, different in preparation. Just make sure that you prepare your this first year subjects and second year subjects really well. Anat, physio, BChem, and path, pharma, micro. Why? Because majority of the times your paper of aims, it starts with these subjects, and like for me it was anatomy, 10 questions straight. So if you are thorough with these subjects, and because they form a majority of the paper, you will not panic in the beginning of your paper. And if you somehow control your nerves in the beginning, your rest of the paper goes really well. So that is why you need to prepare these subjects really well. GT frequencies, make sure you give 1 GT per month in Feb, in March, and in April you can give, in the beginning 15 days, you can give like 3 days or 4 days per, you can give like 2 GTs per week, just to get into that exam momentum. And last 15 days I'll advise you can skip GTs, and before that, in the second half of April, you can give 1 2 GTs, just in a proper exam mode, to just give yourself a feeling of going and attending the exam, and to remove that fear of sitting in the exam hall for that. Any specific questions, or we'll be discussing afterwards? I hope I am done with the questions which were put here. Just make sure that you keep preparing and you keep studying well, no matter what your date gets preponed or postponed. You still have got a structure that it is going to be somewhere in August. So you have proper 6 months. You just have to be vigilant. You have to be very consistent in these 6 months. Even if you were not doing really well, it's time that you start putting in more efforts, because you can take it as a boon that you've got more time. So just prepare well. How to revise GT copy? That is, like, you have to write your mistakes in a copy in the shortest possible manner. That I used to say that I used to divide my page in blocks, and I used to write mistakes in blocks, and I used to revise all the GTs that I have given, whatever I've written in that copy before GT, a day before GT. Like Sunday I used to attempt the GT, so that Saturday I used to revise that. With it I used to revise very quickly the subjects which I got in the bottom three, very quickly, passively, and important stuff I used to revise before attempting the GT next day. You are getting 100 in the first division. That's good, because you are at a good preparation level in the beginning. And now you need to find out ki which subjects you are not getting scores in, because 100 means you still have some subjects which will be pending. So start making sure that you, because you have got good amount of time, even if you're preparing for I9, you still have proper 3 months to improvise on your subjects. Make sure that this Feb period you revise the subjects which you are still getting questions wrong. You practice your PYQs, PYTs of I9 really well, and with it, I did a mistake that a month before I9, I revised only I9 PYQs and not of NEET. But that is not a very good decision. Make sure that you revise at least 4 or 5 papers of NEET as well with I9 before attempting I9. So if you have not started giving your PYQs some importance, please start doing that. Revise your PYQs, PYTs really, really well. These 3 months you have to be very, thorough with your PYTs, very, very thorough with your PYTs of INI set, and at least 4 or 5 papers of NEET for INI set, because I'll say you have to do more papers of NEET when the NEET exam will come, because first we have INI set, so we'll be preparing for that first now. So make sure that you do your I9 set questions, along with it you do your NEET questions also very nicely. The PYQs, the explanations, the important pointers, and the tables which is given in the explanation really well, so that you know inside out of the PYQs really well. How many days should I aim to complete main videos for final year subject wise? It takes around 1 month for surgery, and somewhere around 2 months for medicine, because we don't do medicine in a single go. We divide the medicine in subject, like system wise, and do 15 days for peds, similarly 15 days for ortho, and 15 days for obs and gynae separately. So this is the rough chunk that I did, because I prepared my peds, ortho, gynae in my third year, and a few chunks of surgery in my third year. And the first month of you know final year, I started off with surgery. So I completed in a month, and similarly I took around 1 to 1.5 months for medicine, because I was doing in chunks. So that is the timeline. RR versus main videos, you still have 6 months, proper 6 months for NEET PG, and I started off with my RR videos and RR notes last July, August, and I did it for 1 year till my August NEET examination. So if you are someone who has studied main notes in your MBBS years, you can directly pick up RR and just notate that. If in some subjects, like especially for anatomy, for biochemistry, and physiology, I started off with main notes in the beginning of my internship, like in April 2024, April May around, April May June around. I did some of the main notes, but around July August I switched to RR, and then I was just adding stuff to my RR, and I was just revising that, right? Sorry. So likewise, because you have time. You, if you find any subject still weak, you can refer main notes for that. Otherwise, RR with your PYQs annotated with a good amount of MCQs plus SWTs plus GTs, it's okay, and it is, like sufficient, good enough to do RR, because in the end it is not what you are studying, it is all about how much do you retain. And the, like earlier you used to say that start off with a longer like set of notes so that you narrow it down in the end. But if your concepts are strong, if you have done your main notes in MBBS years, saying from my personal experience that in the initial 3 4 months I did refer main notes once, because I was like, I have not done first year subjects even once for from my main notes. That is why I began with that. But like for complete 1 year, July August 2024 to July August 2025, August 3 we had an exam. For one complete year, I was using my RR, the 6 Marrow RR notebooks, and I was adding on stuff. Like I even referred to main notes for surgery, OPG once. But when I was comparing both of these things, I realized the majority of the things were already there. You just need to add, like suppose there are a few topics which you always get wrong in GTs, in SWTs. For that topics, you can always go back to your main notes and learn it from there. Otherwise, you can just annotate and rely on your RR. But please make sure that you solve a lot of questions, you give a lot of GTs, and you give a lot of SWTs as well. It's all about, finding what are the topics, what are the subjects you are weak in, and improvising that way. And going retrograde is always helpful, so that method can always be chosen. Rest, will be talking in depth about it this Saturday around the same time. Otherwise, we usually do on Sundays, but because Sunday I'll not be free, so we'll be doing it on Saturday, and we'll be discussing at a stretch in depth about everything. Today, I'm not really well, also, so we can call it off here. If any specific doubts or anything to discuss still, you can put it up. We'll discuss in a minute or two, and then we'll discuss in length this coming Saturday. Rohan, yes, you should start watching first and second year subjects only when you are done with your final year subjects really well. When once you are done with that, you have some time left, then you can watch RR for subjects like BKM, for micro or anatomy, just to brush up your concepts. And if you have enough time left before your profs, like you remove 3 months for profs, and if before that, if you still have time and you've done final year really well, you can even refer to your main notes. That's always subjective, because it depends on how much time you had. Because I was having less time, so I revised RR of BKM, micro, and a few topics for anatomy before my profs began. And pharma as well, actually, because that helped in final year subjects as well. I didn't make specifically any topic wise list, but for that I will advise ki uh, go retrograde from like year wise and pick up the PYQs, है ना. और उन PYQs पे ही when you solve, that becomes your important topic, and try to study around that, because that is the best way out. uh, you can prepare notes, like you can write down those points and then revise, but that will also be a little tasky work. If you have annotated your PYQs, and you can just start, like I'll say what you do is, just you have no that complete paper of year wise. That I did for NEET, and that really helped me. So that one you can take. Suppose we have NEET like May 2025 paper. So sit back, you solve that entire paper at a stretch, 3 hours, and then pick up the topics which are important, which you find are weak, you are weak in, and revise that way. Instead of doing it like year wise and subject wise, you can do this way, putting up entire paper at a go and solve it like a GT and revise it all the 200 questions in one go. And that is actually really helpful because you don't miss out on questions. And when you see this all 200 questions together, it gives you some idea exactly how the paper is framed and what are the questions you are going to look at when you're solving the paper in one go. So that is the best advice that I can give you, that you start solving. Like you can pick up Sundays or you can pick up any middays because you have already solved those questions a number of times. So it is not about key you are testing yourself, you're just solving all the questions together so that you don't miss out on questions, and you revise that all together and you go back, specifically wrong question that you do, and revise those questions, those topics, and that is the best way. Any more doubts or questions, or we can stop here? Okay, so we'll be discussing about everything this Saturday at length. I'm sorry, we can't make it a very long session today. We'll be doing it on Saturday and we'll be discussing all the things that we can do proper, like one by one, month wise, day wise, week wise plan. Okay.